Welcome to Comunica, a place where we talk about communications, leadership, and culture. My name is Daisy Sedeno, and we have a series also talking about bilingual professionals, their journey. And I have a dear friend of mine. She's also been a mentor. She's a communications, a transformational speaker, and she has a journey as a bilingual professional as well. And she's here with us today. Welcome. We have Carla Sanchez. She's also been called the Queen of the High Ticket. And tell us a little bit about your journey for people that maybe they don't know you.
Wow. Yes, La Reina del High Ticket. That's how
Yes.
they call me. And I started out in the online business almost a little bit over 10 years ago, Daisy. Can you believe it? And I started out doing, online courses and programs and one-on-one sessions. And I basically have tried it all. The first, I would say, 6 years were a struggle because I couldn't find my way or my place until in 2020 everything clicked and my business became a real business. And I started having an incredible successful business with hundreds of students and clients, and I began creating this incredible movement community that's called Empresarias Oro Puro, which is
Mhm.
my brand. And Oro Puro is pure gold, and which is my branding, and it works. It encompasses everything from within. So it's not just the strategies and the doing and the to-do lists of the tasks, but it also most importantly, you start on yourself, on working on yourself on the inside from within, believing in yourself, believing in your story, in your mission, your purpose, and making it a reality. So that has been my life for the past 4 5 years, and it's been an incredible journey. That business took off, and it's growing. And last year, I began taking the speaking taking the speaking
Journey.
journey differently, because I've always wanted to be a speaker.
Mhm.
I've kind of dabbled myself into speaking engagements and gigs, and I worked for different brands as a spokesperson, but I never really took like a professional mentorship on
Mhm.
how to speak or create a keynote talk. Um, and I did that this year. And in 1 week, I was able to do two talks: one in Paris, in France, in Spanish, and one in English here in the United States. And it's been an incredible experience. And that's where I am now. I'm in this interesting moment of my life that my business is growing. It has like a very specific path that I'm following, and then I'm starting this professional speaking career with already opportunities that are being handed to me. I feel like um, maybe I needed to create that keynote speaking, my actual
Mhm. Yes.
talk, to start to put it out there and have people also know who I am as a person. And it's not just La Reina del High Ticket. It's not
Mhm.
just a high ticket queen, but there is so much more layers, so many more layers about being a Latina and in the United States, and growing a business here, a women-owned, Hispanic women-owned business
Exactly.
in the United States, which requires an interesting set of qualities and abilities. So I feel like I'm in a position where I can help many, many women around the world, not only in the United States, but around the world. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, now you know a little bit of my guest today, Carla Sanchez. When we met, it was so interesting because you come with that mindset of business, making things happen. And it's not just, I know about business, it's the mentality, the psychology behind everything that you see out there. Everything that you see out there, it takes the mindset, and it takes an energy, some kind of the
Yes.
way that you show up. And when I met you, of course, I come from this bilingual world, and I was doing consulting and also public speaking classes for Latinos. And there was a situation there that I was encountering, and I was like, Carla, I don't know if you remember that I said there's people coming to talk to me about being, doing videos, conquering the fear of public speaking because they feel so nervous. They just, we do this all the time. We create videos and stuff, but there's people that have to go through that training just to create
Yeah.
videos or do a podcast or do something
Yes.
simple as just showing up in an interview
Hmm.
at TV. I had to coach people that just go to radio stations, TV stations, and they feel
Yeah.
like, give me a structure, how to start your elevator pitch. We do it all the time. But when it comes to this bilingual world, there's a muscle that we have to develop because we're talking in English here, and then the phone rings and we start talking in Spanish, and then we go back to that conversation in English, and we don't appreciate that. I think we don't showcase that as
Hmm.
much or highlight that. That's a muscle to be able to
Yes.
navigate. And not only the language, is the context, the culture, to figure out why this person is looking at me that way. No, because she is from Puerto Rico and they are like this. They have this double meaning for some words, and we know it because we come from that world. And when I told you about it, you told me, I remember, ooh, this is another business, Daisy. This is not only public speaking. In our own journey, I mean, my own journey, I have to embrace that muscle that I just told you. And I think for you, you had to, I mean, you are trying to change, or you are embracing the mentality of the United States and the business world, but you're translating that to the Latina that maybe she's not even in the United States. She's in
Yes.
Mexico. So that's a skill right there, because the narrative. But
Yes.
for us that we live here in the United States, there's another dynamic. How do you find your way? Because now you're trying to figure it out. Okay, I've been doing this in Spanish, and that's my own journey, by the way. I've been doing
Hmm.
a lot of stuff in Spanish. I would say 85% of my interaction, videos, TV, radio. I'm a journalist. I just published my book, by the way. ¿Quién
Yay.
tú crees que eres realmente? So I had N is coming out in English, and I had to
Amazing.
push myself to do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't we don't dare to show up that way. But you said, like I did, I'm gonna do it. I'm
Hmm.
gonna go with an accent. Tell me a little bit about that moment that you said, you know what, I wanted to experiment that of me.
Yeah, well, there's a lot here to unpack, and I like to talk first about the mindset part, which in my world, it's identity. So it's not just mindset, but it's the identity of the person that you want to be. So, for example, in my case, I've always, seen myself as this successful CEO, business owner that is willing to go the extra mile to do everything that needs to be done, but not only the tasks, the list, but also the thoughts, the actions, the emotions that require to be a CEO. So it's more than mindset. Mindset is part of it, but above mindset, it's identity. So I have always worked on my identity, which basically what has worked for me and the thousands of women that I've coached and that are part of my world is that you have to first think about that version of yourself that it's already successful and already has everything that you deserve, right? And from that identity, then make decisions, have the thoughts, have the identity of that version of yourself. And I believe the gap there is between the you now and the you that you want to be, um, you can make it shorter or you can close it when you have clarity on where you want to be and where you are now. So then you start making the actions, having the thoughts, and creating that reality faster. So that's the identity part of it that I wanted to kind of first put out there. And also I always ask myself, what would Carla the millionaire do?
Mm.
What would Carla the millionaire CEO, owner of these businesses, do? What she would do? And then I make sure that the Carla today makes those decisions and have that, that thought or those thoughts. And then you talk about the English and the accent. Daisy, I was an actress. I don't know if you knew this.
Yes,
You knew,
I
right?
knew, but I want people to know there's a journey and you have yours. So acting is part of it.
And my there were roles, and I lived in LA, and I tried the whole Hollywood thing. And I mean, my manager was Halle Berry's manager. Like, I did it all, if you will, in that sense. I lived in Hollywood. I went to castings that I'm sure Sofia Vergara was going to as well. But I bring up Sofia Vergara because she wasn't famous when I was in Hollywood, meaning that accents were still a thing, like an issue. She made it a thing. She made it trendy. She made it fashionable. She made it cool. She opened the doors for all of us with accents in the Hollywood, in that area. But when I was there, she wasn't around. I wasn't Sofia Vergara. In that moment, I guess I had to work on the identity of myself then, and I didn't have all the tools that I have now. And I quit. I quit the acting world for various reasons. But I always thought, I'm talking about 15 years ago, that my accent was a detriment. It was an
Yes,
obstacle,
a lot
it
of
was,
people think that way.
yeah. It's like people are not going to see me as valuable as I am because I have an accent. And then I started talking and thinking and talking myself into, wait a second, what's the identity here? And I'm like, well, I actually speak two languages. I can communicate in two
Mhm.
languages. I learned another language. Like, I can do so much more. I'm in a country where I know the language that is spoken here, and I am able to reach so many people because I speak two languages. And
Mhm.
then, I changed that mindset and started to, embrace who I
Mhm.
am. Yeah, I'm Carla Sanchez. I'm an international CEO. I have a successful business, and I have an accent, and that's okay. And that's part of who I am. But that doesn't diminish my message, the
Exactly.
message that I want to give to the world, the impact that I know my story can have on people's lives.
Mhm.
And whoever wants to hear it and wants to be impacted by it, wonderful. Whoever thinks that the accent is an issue, then that's okay too, because, it's life and you're not going to be liked
Exactly.
by everybody.
Exactly. And that's why I created this type of podcast. I wanted to highlight who we are. I mean, I have Latinas, Hispanic people that come and they don't have an accent. Sometimes they don't even speak Spanish fluently like we do. But they
Mhm.
are Latinos. They embrace the arroz con habichuela. They love the Latino culture. La mamá es de México, el papá es de Uruguay. So they're not less Latino because they don't speak the language. It is what it
Mhm.
is. They grew up in the United States and they have another journey. But
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to create something like this, a space for us to highlight because who we are in different scenarios, in different because sometimes we see maybe too much, and I'm not saying that is bad or good. Maybe the maid that is the one that speaks Spanish, the one that has accent on the movies, on the sitcom.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
maybe that little girl that is watching, and hopefully, we have a big responsibility, Carla. I feel it that way because I go to do speaking engagements and we need to show up
Yeah.
that is way. as a professional, that of course we're not saying that being a cleaning person or a construction or working in agriculture or anything, those are jobs that people have it done for centuries and
Yeah.
they make good money. There's people who made a living doing so many stuff and it's perfect. That's your journey.
Yeah.
But for example, I met a while ago the custodian in my office, in my job, and she was an engineer in Cuba.
Mm.
And when I met her, I was like, "What's going on? Why you are an engineer? What I mean, there's nothing wrong with cleaning my office or cleaning the building, but I want to know your story."
Yeah.
Sometimes we get lost in this. I don't speak English
Yeah.
perfectly. And I
Hmm.
told her, "What?" And because of that, she stayed more than a decade doing that instead
Wow.
of becoming and growing. And maybe because she didn't see somebody who can take her to that journey, et cetera, et cetera. That's one of the stories that I share in my book because I think it's so important that we talk about this. And it's not only the language, the accent. We can get lost in the identity. And I love that you said that
Hmm.
we can get lost in the expectations of the world and what is expected from me because I'm Latina or I don't speak English this way or I don't know
Yeah.
this. No, you have to embrace your journey and show up authentic the way that you really are, not what the world is saying that you're supposed to be. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not saying that there's people that come to the United States and they have to find a job and they have to clean, but don't have to stay there if that's not what you want. Now she's a teacher in a high school and I'm very proud of her. So, but it took that moment of, wait a minute, I got lost. I'm an
Yeah.
engineer.
Yeah.
I can
Exactly.
actually be doing other stuff. So that's why, thank you for saying that the identity part that when can I mean there's a switch and I try to talk about we're giving too much power to this accent thing
Yeah.
and we can get lost in that. Where is that switch in your perception that you say, you know what? No, I'm going to be doing speaking engagements. That's what you're doing now, by the way. Follow
Yeah.
her
And
on
I
Instagram and also social media. She's doing a lot of stuff in Spanish, but she's going through that journey also of if you want to invite her to your school, to your university to do speaking engagements, she wants to do more stuff in English. And she's been doing already a couple conferences. But there's a switch that you said, you know what? It's not only money. Okay, I mean, we love money. We want to make decent money every year. We're always going for that. But it's also about fulfillment,
yes.
taking yourself to the next level. And that's how I see it when I see you.
I think it doesn't have to do exactly with speaking. It wasn't like something that I said, I'm going to embrace my accent from now on. Um, it has more to do with the work that I did internally in my identity. And with that came the accepting myself with the accent, accepting myself with, what gray hairs, accepting myself with the perimenopause that I'm going through, and and all the things that make me who I am as a person, as a woman. So I feel it's more like, when was the moment where Carla accepted who she was and embraced who she is? And with that comes the accent, comes the moments of my life, comes the journeys, comes the mistakes that I made and keep making because I'm human. And also the amazing things that I've created and that I've built, and to embrace everything, who I am as a whole. Um, and that was when I, accepted myself fully, and I'm still working on that, obviously, because there are other
Aren't we
areas that
all?
maybe,
Aren't we all?
yeah, that trigger. And I mean, my story, my talk, because my story and my talk, because you've seen it. Um, but I'll tell you something. I'll tell you a story that I think it's very important to share here. When I was doing my speaking mentorship, I had the opportunity to do it in Spanish. They let you choose. Okay, you want to create your talk in English or you want to create your talk in Spanish. And I went for English, even with my accent, even with, the my background, that I didn't think I was accepted as an actress because of my accent, and because the Latina roles that were going there were Latinas that were born here, not Latinas like me that got here when I was 17. So if I get here when I'm 17 and I didn't even know the language and I learned the language here, I'm going to have an accent because I didn't come at 5, I came at 17. So so it all came together to me and for me, when in the speaking mentorship, we had the option, and I said I'm going for English because for many reasons. Once it's a language that can reach many places. The corporate side of things here in the United States, it's they have a need for speakers, and and they do a lot of conferences, and I thought and saw it as a business opportunity for me, as well as one of the legs of my business, because I have that CEO mentality and identity, right? It's not just one business. Now I'm into the diversification of my business, and create different legs of income or streams of income. And the speaking side, I saw it as one of those, and I went for it, and I said I'm gonna do it in English, and I'll work on whatever I need to work on, and there are certain words and certain things that I say that I could say it better,
Mhm.
and there is you know training for that. And I mean, you do that, you teach that, and so there are opportunities and ways to make it even better. But I think it's more important the message, and the before and after, the journey that you can share, and that it will resonate with people, than if you have an accent or you don't have an accent. So
Mhm.
anyways, I feel like that's been the part of me that's when it I understood that I embraced myself when I chose to do it in English,
Yeah, I
because
love it.
Spanish was easy.
Yeah, exactly. We don't like easy things, I say all the time. Give me the hard things. Sometimes we need to figure it out a way, because of course you are the same, I have to say, in English and Spanish. I'm able to see you both ways. Maybe you feel different, but I see Carla like in AI speaking in English, and then AI is speaking in French. It's Carla. It's authentic. It's very transparent. She shows up as she is, with the flaws, with mistakes. Hey, this happened before I got here. Let me tell you what happened. Da 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 da. And just you show up, which is one of the things that I feel we need more of, that authenticity, to be able
Yeah.
to just show yourself. Because I always say, when you are able to show who you are, you give others permission. You
Yes.
liberate other people. You don't have to be perfect. Just show up.
I
Just
love
be
that.
here. Be present. And we are one of the biggest. I mean, we are the biggest minority in the United States, but we need to be able to also be ready for leadership, for those
Yes.
positions. And I think we have a couple steps before this generation that is coming. We have a responsibility of just showing up, not only when they talk about Latinos, and that's what you're doing. And I like that you're doing. I have a lot of other things to talk about. Business. I'm a CEO. I can talk about the psychology of money, the identity, like another person, an African American or a white girl or a white man. You are showing up with the knowledge. Of course,
Hmm.
the bonus is that we are Latinos. That's
Yes.
how I see it. We have
Yeah.
something extra to give. We have also culture from Latin America. We have other ways to see maybe the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we need to embrace, and we have to tell this generation that is coming up, but maybe they came to the United States when they were 16, 15, 17, and they tell me, Daisy, ¿cómo le hiciste para el acento? how do you do about the accent bias? And I'm like looking at 15-year-old, a 17-year-old. I'm like, you're giving too much to that accent. So I love that you said, no, we have to show up with knowledge, with our
Yeah.
experiences. And
Yes.
that will take you to another level.
Yeah. Well, that would be the starring role, because like what you said is so true. You're giving your power away to an accent, whereas it's all in your mind. Because honestly, even if you don't have an accent, people are gonna like you, and people are not gonna like you. So it's not your accent. It's deeper than that. It's what's your message, it's what's your purpose, is what
Yeah.
can you bring up to the table and share and have others learn from your experiences. So I think we're giving too much power away, which I did for many years,
Me too. Yes.
to the accent and the this and the that, and when I just worked on all that, and worked on myself, really on accepting myself, loving myself, and knowing that I don't have to be perfect to be accepted, knowing that the way I am, it's more than enough to come and create impact and change and transformation in the world. And I think when you get to that point in your life where you don't care about if this person liked you or this person disliked you, and you just really focus on what is your mission, what is your purpose, why did you come to world, to earth, what to do, and help other people. Are you happy with what you're doing? Because that's another big one. I always, whenever I am making a decision in my business, in my career, in everything that I do, is like, is this going to make me happy? Is this something that I
Mm.
feel it can add to my life and not take away from my life? Because I am a wife, I'm a mother, I have a 7-year-old boy, I have a business, I have thousands of women, in my community, and now I'm doing other businesses as well, to diversify. So I have a lot on my plate, but I'm always asking the question: is this going to add to my happiness? Is this going to keep making me happy? Is this going to take away, or is this going to add? So those are very important questions that I live my life by now, which I didn't before. I didn't care. Before it was like this, and I want to, do this, and I want to make this happen. And I didn't even question, well, is that going to add, or is going to take away? And I
Mm.
feel that it's just where you get to a point in your life where you understand the priorities. And like you say, I love money, and obviously I have many businesses. My business is doing really well, and I will continue to grow and make more money. But I would never put money first before my happiness. If
Mhm.
more money in a area of my life means that I won't have time with my family, or time with my son, or time for myself, then that's not the way that I want to
Mm.
make money. I want to make a lot of money, but I also want to be able to keep being happy, grow my business, so to delegate a lot more, and have more freedom, for me to do whatever I want to do. Because it doesn't matter if I
I
make so
love it.
much money, and if I don't go, I cannot go to travel whenever I want, then that's not really freedom, So
Exactly.
yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, we can talk for hours. I love talking to you. I admire you. I authentically love you. I
uh,
connected with you from the beginning that we start working together, and I admire the results because I mean we love Carla. She's in social media all the time, putting her videos. She has the energy and that charisma and that way to just connect with you. When she looks at the camera, I love that about her. But it's also about her life, the 360 they say it, or the whole your family. I love your family, your business, the way that you're presenting yourself authentic, the way that you really want to connect is not
mhm.
only okay, let's make money and connect at the same time.
Yeah.
I want to see results with everything that I do. And I think that's very powerful when it comes from that level of leadership. When
Mhm.
from that level, that sometimes we see CEOs, leadership, and people on the top that they are not able to connect that way. So what is your message? If you could put together a message in a sentence, what is the message of Carla Sanchez as a bilingual Latina professional CEO? And also the other stuff that you just mentioned. I'm a mom, I'm a wife. It's a whole package that
Yeah.
you have honored. You have honored
Yes.
all the areas, and I love that about you, because sometimes we need to see it in other people. There's some areas that I'm still
Yes.
working on, you know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
when I
We
see
all
it in
are.
you, I feel like, wow, it is possible, but you have to honor all those areas. What is the message of Carla Sanchez?
I love this. And I actually felt that I needed to say something else. And this question is perfect for what I wanted to say. And I believe that I came to this world with a big mission. We all do, okay? But I have embraced my mission. And my mission is to show other Latino women, other Hispanic women in anywhere in the world, not only women that are here or Hispanic women that are here in the United States, but I'm talking about women in Latin America, women in Europe, Hispanics, Hispanic women everywhere. I want to show them that the life that they want to have, it's possible. Meaning, you can have your husband, you can have your children, you can have your business, you can have money, you can have freedom, you can do whatever you want and buy whatever you want and give money away to whatever you want to give away and still be happy and fulfilled. And I want to show with my example that it is possible, because I do have an amazing life. I have a very blessed life that wasn't given to me. I've worked for it. But I have also believed that I deserve it. And I am here to show you, to show everybody that's going to watch this podcast, this video, that it is possible for you too. I come from nothing. Nothing was handed to me. I come from making, less than $2,000 a month. I come from cleaning toilets. Okay. I worked at a Pollo Tropical, which is a restaurant here, a fast food restaurant. I deliver newspapers at 3 o'clock in the morning in the outside of a pickup truck, throwing newspapers out to the houses. I used to clean houses. I came here at 17, 18, and I clean toilets as well. And now I have an incredible, successful six-figure business, almost hitting $1 million this year. I have a bunch of other businesses that I'm doing. I am leading an incredible community of thousands of women, and this is possible for you too. I've worked on it. I've believed in myself. I have worked on my identity, which I feel is the pillar, that's the most important pillar for you to make your dreams a reality. Has it been easy? No. It has been a committed, responsible, list of things to be and to do, but it is possible. You can do it too. And now, after 4 years of everything that I've done in my business and having a track record of a six-figure business, now I can say that it's when I can see the amazing possibilities that I have, the freedom that I've created, the kind of life that I've created. And I talked to my husband about this when we met. He made $50,000, $60,000. I made $30,000. Between both of us, we didn't even make $100,000. Okay, and why do I say that? And maybe this sounds like a lot of money for Latin America, but in the United States, it's not a lot of money when you want to create, a family. He lived with a roommate. I lived in like a low income apartment. We come from that. And everything we have now, we have built together. So I've also been able to choose, the people around me and in my life that will help me grow and support me and support my growth. And all of that comes because of the identity, because of my identity and who I have worked to be, what I've believed that I deserve. So I'm here to show you that it's possible, that all of us can have the life that we deserve. All of us have an incredible mission. You just have to believe that it's possible for you and do the work
I
that is
love it. I
required
love it. Thank
to
you
get
so
there.
much.
Yeah.
Thank, thank you. Thank you so much, Carla. You were breaking up a little bit at the end. If I interrupt you, I'm sorry. I didn't
That's
see
okay.
you, but I mean, we can talk for hours. Because we connect. I'm in Florida. She is in Florida. For whatever reason, we even met online first, and then we met in person, and then it's becoming this friendship. She was my
Yeah.
mentor for, like, I think it was almost a year and a half,
Uh-huh.
about becoming a business person and all that stuff that comes with the online world, and that journey that I took also as a consultant, as a public speaking coach. So I connected a lot with your journey because there's some stuff that is me. I mean, I
Mhm.
see you. I saw you on stage, and it was me. That's
Oh,
the love, like I was there with you, right next to you, embracing you. And that tells a lot about you, that you're able to connect this powerful with women all over. And it's also a little bit of my own journey, trying to find that
mhm.
identity, and trying to find it, and also um aterrizarla, like make it concrete, like it's a reality. And in the results, that's what we see. We have to
Mhm.
have the evidence, and we have to show up, and maybe create that alter ego a little bit. It's okay, nobody's going to say anything. Just create it, and just become that person. And that's what I
Yeah.
see in you. So we can talk for hours here whenever you want to come and just share a little bit of what you've been doing. I know you're going to be doing a lot of stuff, speaking engagements and consulting and all that. You're always welcome.
Thank you.
And we're gonna have a, hopefully, a virtual party for the book. Is going to come out in English. Now es en español. Por acá está. ¿Quién te crees que eres realmente? Who do you think
Ah,
you are really? Who do you think you really are? Is in English, but now it's in Spanish. It's in Amazon, and it talks a little bit about my own journey, and as a bilingual Latina professional, as a woman with dreams, as a person, as a professional, as a human being, as a person that ups and downs, mistakes, and also a lot of victories. We have to celebrate our
yes.
victories, and
We got to
that was
talk
one of
more
my
about
victories.
them. Yeah.
Yes,
That's, I see you and I'm so proud of you. You're showcasing your book and showcasing who you are. You know that I'm your biggest number one
yes,
fan. And
thank you. I
that's
appreciate you.
who I become, when I see all you guys, and I see so much potential, so much
Mhm.
power, so much of everything, and we've worked together, so you know what I mean. When I see you there presenting your book, I'm like, yes, she's doing
Yeah,
it, because
thank you.
that's part of the mission that we all are here to do. So I'm
Yes,
so proud of you.
thank you. Likewise. Well, this is it for today. This is Comunica. We talked about communications, leadership, and of course, culture. Until next time. Thank you so much, Carla.
Mwah.